Muted.
Hey, how's everyone doing today? I wanted to thank you all for joining us on the webinar, the training webinar today. I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us on the session today. My goal today is to cover our screener, basic screener use, as well as our quick fact sheets. Just due to the number of people on this call, I'm going to go ahead and mute everyone. If you have any questions, please feel free to type those in to the GoToMeeting chat box, and I'll do my best to answer those questions. Any firm-specific questions or questions that might be specific to how you want to use the screener, please feel free to shoot me an email or give me a call, and we can set something up to review that on a one-on-one basis. You should all have my email information, and you should also have my contact phone number if you want to jot that down. My number is 800-480-3888, and I'm at extension 105. Now, my main point here was, again, to review the screener as well as our quick fact sheets. And my name is Viraj from AdvisoryWorld. Just I saw that question come across. So I'm Viraj. I head up the support team here, and I'll be taking you through our screener and quick fact sheets. So to start with here, I'm going to go ahead and show you once you log in. You should all be familiar with our homepage. To use the screener, you simply click on the screener button under Analytical Illustrations on the toolbar. Clicking here brings up our asset screener interface. And really what this allows you to do is multi-layer criteria against the positions we have in our database to find matches for what you're looking for. So going through some criteria we have here, we have a lot of different things you could use to sort through positions here. Basic information gives you everything from asset type to asset classification. A way to go through here and sort for positions. Risk and return, pretty straightforward, gives us risk and return parameters we can use to sort for positions. MPT statistics, here we can use alpha, beta, R squared, drawdown, things like that for our screen. Equity metrics, use the metrics on the equities in the portfolio or the position. Fixed income metrics, holdings-based screens, looking at percentage of holdings, fees and expenses, allowing us to sort based on expense ratio, 12(1)B, front-end loads. And lastly, Lipper category rankings. So how does this product stack up to the competitors in its pool? You can use the different Lipper category rankings here to figure that out. Now my goal today was to kind of just show you all of the different criteria we can use and set up a basic screen to find some positions, narrow those positions down, and maybe do some light reporting on that as well. So here what I'm going to do is add some criteria to go ahead and use this screener to help us narrow down some positions in our database. First thing I'll do is select an asset type. I'm going to go ahead and use mutual funds here. Next thing I'll do is go ahead and add a subcategory. So maybe today what I want to do is start screen for large cap growth. Sounds good to me. Let's go ahead and add that one. Let's throw in an MPT stat. So let's look at alpha. And let's look at alpha going back 5 years. So here I need to adjust what I'm looking for. So I want to look for alpha greater than or equal to, let's just give it something, 1. And let's add some risk and return in the form of a Sharpe ratio. And let's have that Sharpe ratio go out 5 years as well. And same thing, I'm going to look for something greater than or equal to 1 here. Let's keep it simple. And lastly, you know what, I want to make sure we're not paying too much for this. I'm going to go ahead and add an expense ratio criteria here. I'm going to say we're looking for expense ratios greater than or equal to 2%. I enter my criteria here. To go ahead and run this criteria against our database, I'm simply going to click Apply Criteria. Our asset screener is going to take the criteria we've entered, reference our database, and come back with a list of matches. So given the criteria we gave it there, this is the list that returns. And here what I can do is really narrow this down. So I have 235 positions that returned. A little bit too much to do research on here. So maybe what I want to do is let's start by screening for the 5-year alpha. I can simply click on the 5-year alpha. I'm going to sort this. I can click here, sort finger descending as well. I'm going to go ahead and sort this from highest to lowest. And maybe what I want to do is eliminate any product that has alpha below 4.5. Easiest way to do that, I'm going to select all products and then deselect anything with an alpha above 4.5. Simply remove those from the list. Narrows my list down substantially. Now maybe I'll screen this or filter this down a little bit further, and obviously I'm keeping it simple for you guys here, really for myself. I'm going to sort by expense ratio, and maybe I want to eliminate anything with an expense ratio over 1. So here what I'll do is simply check the positions with the expense ratio over 1 and go ahead and remove those from our list. What I've come down to now is 6 mutual funds. I feel like that's a pretty workable list here. So what I'll do is maybe I'll save this list and I'll title this Large Cap Growth in today's date. Simply save that list here. Now what I can do is maybe I want to compare these products and see which one I want to recommend for my clients. I can come in here, new hypothetical, pull up my screener, simply go to the results tab, load my list, large cap growth 1120 here is on page 2. I'm going to load this guy, select these positions, and add them to this hypo. Now I'm sure you're familiar with our functionality, but here what I could do pretty quickly, create an illustration that's going to allow me to compare all these positions against one another. I'll allocate $10,000 to each of these, leave this allocated as individual, come straight over to our reports tab, and I'm going to build our hypothetical performance report, and I'm actually going to compare these investments and simply build the report. So again, real quickly, I was able to use our screener to identify 6 large cap growth potential products I want to use. I'm able to save them to a list. I'm able to bring them over into the hypothetical and build a report on them which compares each of these products here. So pretty simple way to go ahead and get some output and screen and search for some products. Now also one other thing I want to show you is it is also possible to export out of, I'm going to go ahead and say no here, it is possible to export out of our screener into Excel. So say for example I have some results loaded up, I can simply also export that to Excel. So what I did is I used the screener to narrow it down to a list of 6. You wouldn't necessarily need to do that if you wanted to export all 235 positions that the system initially returned into Excel and do your analysis that way. You can simply export here, clicking this button, and have all the output sent to you in Excel format. So again, just a quick way to screen for products. Use the screener to narrow down your search, find some products you want to do research on, and then go ahead and build reports on them. Also another cool feature that we've come up with recently within our home page here is the quick fact sheets. So a lot of times what might happen is you might have a product in mind or a ticker that you want to do some research on or just get some information on quickly. What our quick fact sheet allows you to do, and that's actually started by clicking on search here, is you can simply type in or paste in any ticker you want here, find it, build the report, and the fact sheet comes up real quick here. It came up on my other screen, but as you see here, the fact sheet comes up from the product inception to the end date, gives you all the pertinent information, trade returns, MPT stats, macro allocation, as well as Lipper category rankings, all with just a couple keystrokes, hitting enter and build report. It's also a pretty cool and neat way to get fast information out of our system rather than building an entire illustration and then going to the reports tab and building that fact sheet. So I wanted to keep the screener use and the quick fact sheets to a pretty quick call here. I feel like I've covered most of the ground I wanted to here. So what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and open this up for questions. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to type them in to the question chat box. And I see the first question that came in is, are there search criteria for ETFs like mutual funds? And can you do the same thing for fixed income products? So yeah, you can do that. Again, in screener here, what you would be doing is under basic information, asset type, rather than selecting mutual fund, you would simply select the exchange traded fund. And as far as for fixed income products, you'd be able to use any of these products. And then like you saw me do with the asset subcategory, rather than select large cap growth, you could come in here and you could select a fixed rate, bonds, general equity, general fixed income, global bonds, whatever the case might be, and use that as your screen. Another question I see, are there any SMAs in here? There are. Same basic functionality, asset type, separately managed account. And the last question I saw was, can you create a fact sheet for 5 products? For example, 5 mutual funds there. And you can actually create a quick fact sheet there for 5 products. What you would do is you would simply come in here, and I'm just going to use this to actually grab a ticker, come back out to my list, come into my search here, throw in ticker 1, ticker 2, and you could, this list could go on. For this sake, you could, separate, you could put in 5 or more mutual funds here, simply click find, then build report, and you will get fact sheets for each of these products here. Last question I saw in the box here is, do you only offer Lipper category comparisons? Unfortunately for us, what we're going to offer in terms of category rankings is going to be all Lipper based. Let me show you this real quick. This was our multi-fact sheets here. So we have our first product followed by the second product, and if you were to put in 5 or more positions, that would work just the same. So we are unfortunately constrained here to our criteria is a category rankings, but we do have a number of different category rankings you can use here. And if you notice, it does go into quite a bit of detail as you break out into each one of these category ranking criterias. Last question I see here is one about reports based on QSIPs. You should be able to build reports based on QSIPs. You would type them in the exact same way you would for the ticker. If it's in our database, that should come up. A lot of times for fixed income products, that's obviously the way to go. And I see a question in here about changing colors. We do actually plan on hosting a call about customizations, but you can absolutely change colors on reports. Customization, I'll touch on this real briefly here, is done under My Info on the top right, and then Edit Report Branding. What you can come in here and do is change the colors on any of your reports, backgrounds, charts, as well as bar charts. You also have the ability to adjust your report format and font here. And again, we do plan on hosting a call to cover all of the report formatting here. So with that, I don't see any other questions coming in. I am going to hang out on the line here. Thank you all for taking the time out of your day. I know I'm at the end of my 15 window here. Thank you all for taking the time out of your day to join us on this call. I appreciate your time. And as questions come up, please feel free to either call me, shoot me an email our general support line, call our general support number. Number of different ways to get a hold of us, and we're here to help and happy to help you out. Again, I'll be hanging out for the next couple of minutes. If any questions come up, feel free to type them in. Otherwise, we're available via email. You can call in, and we're here and happy to help you. Thank you all for your time.